too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna make an offset candlestick. You can also make a little goblet. It's really not hard to do, you just have to be careful. What I did is I marked both centers, and I'll show you that. We're gonna round it off. And then what I did is off center, I put 3 different marks. So what we'll do is after we round it and create the base and the top, then I'll go to each hole individually to do one section, which you'll see. 2 things that are critical to this. One, like always, sharp tools. Also speed. You're going to be cutting air, so you want to go fast. I like to go at least 2,500 RPM with this. I need a face mask. We'll see how we do this.
You want to?
Yeah, I probably should get a mask as well. So what I'm going to do is I have, 3 tools that I use. I use a spindle roughing gouge, and I have 2 spindle gouges. One is a 1/2 inch, and one I think is 3/8. On the spindle gouge, I did put a little heel on it, because you're going to be going in and making a cove. So I put a little heel on it so you can get a little bit better in tight corners. And these are 35-degree angles is what I use on this.
Which one do you want first?
I'll pick both. All right. So I'm not going to wear this until, well, actually, I'll put that on when I sand. All right. Somebody had a small head. Okay. So first thing to do before you turn the lathe on, turn the speed off. And then you can start. It also helps to have it in the right direction. This is the fun part. This is really interesting. So that's the fun part. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to be creating the base, I'm going to be creating the top. I'm going to put a tenon on the bottom of it, because once I have it shaped, I need to drill the hole for the, I need to flatten up the top and drill a hole for the T-line. So that's what I'm going to do now. I need to, one thing I did when I was doing my practice piece is I didn't leave enough room up here for the top, and by the time I had created the offset, I didn't have much room up here, so I'm going to leave more room on this one. I have a longer piece than I did for practice.
What species of wood is that?
think. Okay. I'm going to mark out the base. Slip a little bit, bring it in. Okay. So this just gives me a demarcation line. This gives me the demarcation line. It's just where the I need to make sure I keep my spacing. And because it's offset, make sure you turn it. Make sure there's room. Turn the speed off. Okay, here's the fun part. So I'm going to do the first section, second, and third. And what I'm going to do is, as I go through, I'm going to see shadow because it's offset. What I'm looking for is till the shadow goes away. That tells me I have a nice smooth piece.
So Larry, you kept this side centered and you changed that one to one of your
No,
other.
this is centered as well. This
Oh,
is the
it's
top
still
of the
centered.
candlestick, so it's going to be, the bottom and top are going to be flat, or the same, and then it's going to curve between them. So it's only this, the post, or whatever you want to call, which will be, okay, again, you need speed. You got to go in softly. You need a sharp end on your tool. You also have to go very, very gently. If you poke it in, you aren't going to get a sharp cut and you're going to hurt somebody. So go very slowly. Oh. I don't know if that helps.
That help you guys visualize it a little bit better?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
Okay, good. So now you can see it's offset. Depending on how thin you want this, typically what I'll do is I'll make this a little bit thick, thinner, thinnest. So it has a nice taper to it. Now if you notice right here, there's a little dip on that. So what I have to do is I have to bring this back. Very gentle touch. Now I have a nice clean cut, pretty much. I have to do a little bit more. Okay, that's nice and clean. What I'm going to do is I want to get this narrow. I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. I have a hard time doing left-handed, so I end up spinning over here. Okay. So I have a little issue with that. Okay, that's a nice clean cut. Now typically what I do on this now is you have to stand as you go. Because if you have it centered, this thing's going to jump around. So as you turn this, it has to be sanded. This is a little bit rough, but it's hard to get in here. So what I end up doing is using my 120, either my 80 grit or my 120 grit scraper. Great way to organize your sandpaper or file folder. This is my 80 grit scraper. Just run down to 320. All right. What I usually will do at this point, I gotta clean this up, is I'll do some hand sanding because I want to be able to sand with the grain as I go as well. Between each grit, before I finish that one grit, I always sand with the grain. Okay, so I got one done. So we'll back this off, go to the next hole. Okay. What's going to be, what you need to end up doing is, as you see when I cut, is getting these lined up. So it's nice sharp edge. So you want to work into it. And actually this is going to be a little bit smaller diameter than we have here.
When you reposition that, are you going 90 degrees or 180 from where you were before?
It's only 3 holes. So here's 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so it's
It doesn't really matter which way you go.
120.
Yeah. Now I can start feeling it getting taller. And what I like to do is on this, I'd like to have a cove going into the center. Pardon?
The camera went off for a minute, but it came back on.
Okay. So right now what I'm doing is just establishing the depth, or the diameter I want. Okay. So what I'm doing is comparing this diameter to what I want. Now you notice, you know, I've got the space here, so I've got to bring it in to where they meet. Okay, got a little bit of a chip that's right here. That's because I went in too fast. I'm going to get this one a lot thinner. Okay. Nice difference on that. A little bit of chipping on that, but we can sand that out. I want to clean this up a little bit. Very gentle start. Right in the bevel. this. Still got a little bit of a mark here. I'm going to just back up just a hair.
When I try that, I always get too much tear out right here, where you don't have any tear out.
That's because it's very sharp, very, very fast, and you just ease it into it almost, it's almost like you're not pushing, you're just sort of thinking it, just very gently, and as soon as you start feeling it connect, just sort of slow down and just bring it in nice and slow. If you push it in, it's going to get the chip out. I want to thin this up right here, so it's straighter than Am I boring you?
More like pissed me off when you got that sharp edge and I didn't.
You didn't think of that?
No, I couldn't get around it. Every time I tried something, I always get that tear out on that edge.
Oh, yeah. It helps to have harder wood too. Using another spindle gouge. Okay, I got a little bit of a gap there, but I'm going to be bringing this down, so I don't have to worry about that. I want to clean this up if I can. You can see, I can actually see the little bar on there. Excuse me, my safety sandals are getting hooked up. If you don't want to know why I'm wearing sandals, is that I broke my right foot. I have nerve damage and I can't wear shoes because it's too painful. So I have to wear sandals. And it's good that I'm in Florida. You know, if I lived in Minnesota and couldn't wear shoes, frostbite. Don't go too fast when you're sanding, or you'll just end up burning the wood. So if you feel your sandpaper starting to heat up too much, slow it down. I see an issue, and that's this side, which is tapering towards the top, is wider than here. So I really need to bring this down so it's either straighter or comes in a little bit more. Oh. Sawdust in the eye this time. What's happening is if I'm too far away. And with offset, you have that issue of trying to get the tool rest close enough. That's a little bit better. See if I can clean that up a little bit. It also really helps if you, at least with me, when doing the turning, when I want to look at the bevel, I try to stand over it as much as I can to look straight down. That way you can see the bevel. Otherwise, if you're out here and trying to do it, you may not see how the bevel is presented to the wood. Personal preference. Putting somebody to sleep. You have to be careful with the knuckles. All right. Well, hit that with something. I got a little nick there. Okay, close enough. This is just a demo piece. Okay. Need water. All right, this is now the last step for here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to here. And then I will recenter it, got some, and then get the top done.
Tailstock loose and move when you, lever loose,
Oh,
and move when you cinch it up on the
I was
quilt.
wondering why I was getting a little loose. Thanks. Okay, so I want to keep about this side. Whew. All right. Something like that.
Larry, is there any consideration where you put those first 3 marks that you were gonna,
No, I usually do it equal.
just random?
Yeah, well, I do it in just a triangle. Now, if you set one far, like, let's say you do 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch,
Yeah,
then these will be a little bit more varied
okay,
in the angles. I just did it equal
okay,
because like 3/4, you're really getting a lot of air,
okay.
considering the size of this.
So your offset is only 3 points, not
Yeah. You can do 4 if you do longer, but remember after you do on the, yeah, you can, but you would really need a longer piece to do 4 because you want people to see this. If you do it 4 on this size, this is going to be really small. All right. Spin.
Larry, how far away from the center hole? Or range?
About a ½ inch.
Yeah.
Are you just trying to cut it down?
Yeah.
Okay,
Trying to get it, I'm just trying to get this narrow.
okay.
Now I've got a little bit of space here, so I'm not going to go any farther until I have the diameter that I want. But see how far I have to go yet?
Oh, yeah.
You can use like a bowl down, something more aggressive in here, but I don't mind doing this. One thing I have to keep in mind is I'm really aggressive doing this. What I have to remember is not be aggressive when I get closer to the end. You know, I've got to loosen up a little bit. The reason why I'm backing off is I want to make sure I have a nice, even way to transition. That's about the size I want. Now I've got to start taking this down to close to that, so I'm going to be chopping a bunch off here, which will make this longer. Stop and check your work. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this very, very slow. In fact, I'm going to go to my other gouge. This one's still sharper. Now I'm going to go real slow, looking at the shadow. And you're just going to start feeling it. And then just push straight in. All right, so that's got a little bit of chip, not bad. Something can be sanded out. This I can sand out. This one I want to get, this is going to have a little transition like this. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Actually, I'm thinking about what to do. I'm going to bring this down in. I've got a nice crack here. Hopefully it won't affect it. One thing you can also do to add decoration is you can leave a little bit of a lip there. Okay. I'm sort of debating what to do here. I may go ahead and recenter this. I'm not sure. The way this is trying to get that even. There's always going to be a little bit there. I'm going to go in straight. Yeah, that'll work. There's going to be a little bit up there, a little farther, a little farther. That wasn't good. Okay. what I'm trying to do is get rid of this little transition here. So I'm going to go in a little bit farther. Okay, that's better. I'll clean this up. I'm going to go in a little bit more because I'm going to make this round and then I can clean that up. More, a little more, a little more, a little more. Sort of like doing a bowl, just one little bit, one more cut, one more cut. Yeah. If I was at home, I'd be spending a lot more time standing, but I don't think you want to see me sitting here standing. Okay, now I'm going to put it back on center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish cleaning that up a bit and establish the base, finish the base up here. I made a little bit of a cove just for decoration. Yeah, it's still got a crack in that. Okay, close enough. Okay. So this is that, this average where I want to cut the base. Okay, so I'm going to check it. Can you get a broom to just sort of clean this up a little bit? Just pick that back up. Better? Yeah. I'm gonna put on bigger jaws.
What are you chucking it for now?
To drill the hole for the candle and clean up the top. Those who don't know, this is the easy check. And this is all you have to do to change the jaws.
Keep it around.
I hope I did this right. Yeah, I may have a little. And what I'm going to do is put the tailstock in, get that centered, then tighten it up. All right. Okay, so what I have, this is a 1.5 inch tea light that I have. So I'm going to just gently go in. I'm going to go in the depth of the drill or the bit. Actually, I'll go in a little bit more because I try to clean off the space.
How fast do you go for that?
I don't know.
Like, that's
Foster beds are like 250 or lower.
250 or lower?
I was at 900.
I would never turn something like that at 2,000. So he's just the opposite.
All right.
The only thing I've ever turned that fast is a pen.
Okay, all I'm going to do now is just clean up the top on this. When you do this, since you're doing side pressure and you're holding it here, go very, very, very slow on when you push on that. Oh, big chip there. Okay, gotta fix that.
Have any of you ever tried that?
No.
He makes it look easy.
I
I've
know
tried
he
it a
does.
couple
I'm like,
times.
this was pretty fast. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and do it.
Yeah. I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times and I've had failures, so.
Okay.
Probably fail.
I'm gonna, because it's gonna be hidden by the
Those
tea
sharp
light.
edges, I can't get those edges sharp like that.
Okay,
The
Well, then-
transitions don't look right.
okay.
I just put the tailstock back in because I'm gonna be doing the bottom. A little bit up here that I could clean up, but again, you know how to sand, I hope. Unfortunately, you know how to sand, right? Okay. When you're parting, make sure when you go in part way, move it over a little bit, go back and